Hey everybody, how are you? Welcome to of season two, episode one of our show, White Noise. This is something that I really look forward to, and talking to all of you and doing this live is just something that is just amazing for me. And we get to talk one-on-one with so many other people, and I have a lot of guests lined up this year, and we are just going to have a fun every second Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're just going to go from there. I just want to mention a few things off the top, and part of it is the seminar that happens on October 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. There's still some available seats, not many, but there are, and we are going to be opening up on developing your psychic abilities. It's a topic of great interest with everybody, if I can let you know that. And while people have a hard time scientifically not being able to have any evidence at times to support this, it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger every day with clips on people's phones and people having seeing ghosts, seeing entities, and the TV shows that are out there now, they're really showing a lot of apparitions and sounds and voices, and they're communicating with a lot of different things. But that is for the investigators, I guess, that are doing those. The good psychic mediums that are out there doing that, the tools are for all of you who feel like you can't see and hear what we do, but we all have this ability. So I want to be able to keep the interest going and really share with all of you how we can start working on different things to enhance our abilities. We're going to go through 11 topics this Sunday. It starts with meditation, grounding and centering, chakra work. It's important to do that. Developing your intuition and how you're going to use that. Practice your visualization. That is a big, big deal for a lot of different things. So that's important. And doing so many other things that will bring interest to us, which I think is going to develop into a lot of new things. I'm going to lose some light here for a little while. Very sorry about that. And it got a little darker, and Joe's just going to look at me and go, what the heck? We lost some light. So what I'm trying to get at here is learn from books and resources as well. We've got a few of them and people that you can trust. And the biggest deal out of all of this is having patience and persisting on working on your abilities. That is going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to be talking about that on Sunday, October 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern time. And I've seen the list, and thank you very much for doing that. Number two, I did a documentary on Discovery, which is coming out sometime after the 13th of October, and I will be announcing that very quickly. So Discovery US is going to show it the first week, and we're going to get it the second week. And it's about the most haunted places in the world. And it's covered Asia, it's covered Europe, the UK, United States, and Canada. And I was invited to be the psychic medium to be able to do that. And it was quite horrific in so many ways. We were frightened. We were tripped, punched, hair pulled, pushed, and it was just unbelievable what went through that. So I'm looking forward to you seeing what we go through, and not one REM pod, Mel meter, spirit box, nothing was used. You're going to hear very, very strong voices. You're going to hear a lot of different things. You're going to hear the bangs and the knocks, and they were just very disturbed that we were in there trying to remove them for the owner. And you'll see the outcome. So that's going to be kind of different. Number two is thanking Joe to come back and do this and manage this podcast. Joseph, thank you very much, man. I appreciate that.
And happy to be back.
Thank you. So without further ado, I want to speak about my guest tonight. Her website is raisingenergy.com. Her name is Angel Morgan. We had a great time with Angel on the last time, and we did some psychic readings. And tonight we're going to be talking about your abilities, how you can stay focused, and what is so important for us to learn to do. So that's going to be something really, really cool. She's been in this as a psychic medium, animal communicator for over 24 years. She's appeared on Canada's radio News Talk 1010, and she has her own show called Raising Energy on Rogers TV, our local TV provider. Lastly, Angel has written one book called My Psychic Journal, but October 5th, it comes out with her new book, My Psychic Companion. So there's a lot of things that Angel's going to share with us. And without further ado, I'd like to invite Angel on here now, and we can just have that conversation as if we're going for a coffee. Well, hello, Angel.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Very good, and welcome back.
Well, thank you for having me back in first episode of the second season. I feel special.
Well, you are special with all of us because we love when you've come on before. So this is just going to be, maybe we can make this a regular routine thing too, because people enjoy what we're doing.
And you and I always have so much to talk about, right? Like, as a person, you're just so awesome, but Libra, Gemini always get on so very well. And you know that because Jill is a Gemini, right? Yes. And Carl is a Libra. So it's so funny that your wife is Gemini. My fiance is like, it's such a great match to have.
It is. And I'm always unprepared for Geminis, no matter how I look at it.
We keep you on your toes.
You certainly do.
But that segues actually really nicely into today's topic, because I feel that when you're aligned in who you are, you're always drawing energies to you that are correct for you to continue to grow, right? And in our case, for you, it would be the Gemini. For me, it would be the Libra, the grounding, and the active energy for you. So one of the biggest things that I like to share is that when we are on this path of spirit or the psychic or the energetic or the healer or what have you, you're on the right path. And a lot of people go, but how do I know I'm on the right path, right? They call us and they go, am I on the right path? I'm calling because I want to do a touch base. Am I doing the right thing? Well, this is how you know you're doing the right thing, because the right things are happening in your life. You're drawing the right energies. You're aligned in your day, just having that day that feels active or good, or you've learned something. So that doesn't necessarily even mean, oh, I've had a fantastic day. You might have had an argument that day, but you walk away from that and you've learned something that's helped you grow. That also shows you that you're in line and that your intuition is growing. Your psychic abilities are growing because you are listening, because you are in tune with what's going on. You're aware that you're learning from that argument. You're aware that something is moving in you.
We're allowing, like you said, new vibrations to come into our heart chakras, our third eye, and our crown to build everything. And the answers that we get are conversations in our heads with others. And when we're mediumship, we usually get to see the spirit, the ghost, that entity, and have a conversation with him that they're trying to give us a message to their loved ones, which is basically our job.
Yeah. And the only way we can do that and actually see spirit is to be in that alignment. Like, I love the fact that you were talking earlier, because I was watching you actually on YouTube while I was waiting. It's not psychic. I love that you said that in your class, you're going to be teaching the meditation and the chakra realignment, because the chakras that we're using are very much from the solar plexus up when it comes to the mediumship, but we have to stay grounded in this earth. My mentor used to say that 1 foot here, 1 foot there, because it's so easy to get taken away into the other world. It's so much fun.
And it is easy for other energies to be misinterpreted as real, not real, but mischievous, and they will throw you off your path, make you feel good, but all of a sudden you're getting a headache, or you don't feel well, or you're exhausted for whatever reason. Because I do get exhausted after my day's work, but it's that understanding that the very first thing that we do before we even start my day is I white light myself. It's a grounding technique that I do. And I always put up this mirror and invert it so that I do not get any trouble from others. And it's always good to do something like that. Everybody has a different view or a different way of doing things. And every psychic doesn't do it the same way, but they have an ability for them that they feel comfortable and safe to start allowing that information to come in.
Yeah. And I start my day a little bit differently. So what I do is, and I learned this from a psychologist, and I work with a lot of counselors, a lot of psychologists that are on my team, because I believe that this world and that world have to work hand in hand. And one of the things that I was taught was that when you are waking up, before you open your eyes, your subconscious is wide open, right? That's before you open your eyes. You're still in that in-between place that we talk about. So this is something for everybody that you can actually do at home. When I wake up in the morning, I do affirmations, but not just, I ams. It's, today, my day is easy. It's effortless. I am protected. I'm protected by those who are out there. I'm a clear and perfect channel for the work that I do. And in doing that, in using those affirmations, and they can change from day to day, what's happening is I'm throwing messages directly into the subconscious mind. The second we open our eyes, goes like that. So now it becomes a little bit more challenging because we're seeing the walls and we're seeing ourselves, in the mirror. We're waking up and all that drowsy kind of conscious stuff takes over. So it becomes a little more challenging. So this is something I start my day with. And this is something that you can start with your day with. And you'll see over like 4 days of doing this, especially if you do the same affirmations, that your life will start to change. It's really cool. I actually beat a cell phone charge that way. Oh, I'm not joking. I'm not joking.
Awesome.
4 days before I had a court case, I took it right to court. I was my own lawyer. And 3 days before I started the affirmations, I get a judge who's easy, who will let me off the hook, who's really amazing, who really understands what happened, And I went into court and I watched each person and how easy he was on them. And I thought, ooh, I think I got the good one. And when I came up to it, I had a lawyer, we had the police officer. It was a really big performance. And this judge, he kind of just took his pencil. He was beautiful. He was a gorgeous guy. And he took his pencil and went, I don't think that's what the law was meant for. He goes, I'm dismissing all charges. And I was, what just happened here? Like everybody in the room was like, what just happened here? So these affirmations that we use and when we work, when the subconscious is wide open, it's huge. It's huge. And you can do this for healing, and you can do this for your family, and you can do this for yours, but start with you.
And that's the most important thing, is working on you first and having that ability to talk and feel confident about yourself.
Yes.
Because we're very good at self-sabotage in our world. And the imposter syndrome comes out very, very easily for us if we all of a sudden feel something uncomfortable. And that doesn't take away from my confidence of what I do, but it makes me think a second time going, I have to approach this differently, because like any spirit that we deal with, they're all different. The people that we're working with, everyone has a different energy attached to them. It's their how do I call it? It's their thumbprint. It's their individual energy. And it's not always the same, because I don't think I've read one person that has the same thing about someone else. So whenever I do my work, it's always different. And it's always, it's mind blasting at times for me. And just like, here's the message I'm getting. And they're going, whoa, that came out of nowhere. But thank you so much for that. I wasn't expecting that. And those are the good ones.
Yeah.
For the other ones that say, you haven't been able to read me at all today. And I'm just going, well, we are closed.
Go away and sit with that. I usually say to people, just go away and sit with that. And usually within a few weeks, sometimes longer, I'll get an email going, that actually did make sense. Because sometimes people are not ready to hear what we want to say, but it doesn't help us. Like as readers in that moment, you have we're human. Right. Yes. So the reality is doubt is part of the game. And this is what I always tell young readers and people who are starting on the path that, when it comes to doubt, it's not about doubting or not doubting. You're going to. It's about to what degree are you doubting? Is it paralyzing you? You need to sit and really work with that particular doubt that you're working with. But if it's not, I mean, it's one of those things of, okay, I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to step forward. I'm going to trust what's going on here. Which
is amazing. Now, when I'm like, we follow each other on Instagram, we like each other's stuff all the time and that kind of stuff. But,
and for my people who are watching, go follow him. He's awesome. Jim Hunt Official. He's so cool.
And my crew is always following you. And I love that idea because I love to share, because there's always something that we learn from another intuitive at all times.
Yeah.
And I want to bring up a small topic that is annoying. And they just say, you need to prove something to me. You need to prove this to me.
Oh my God. I just had one. He was so adorable. I mean, this guy was a young man. He came in and he made me very clear right at the beginning. And even before he came in, I'm like, this one's going to be challenging. And he looked at me and he goes, listen, and he used this word. He goes, there are a lot of charlatans out there. And he goes, and a lot of fakes out there. So I need something. And I'm like, okay. And he was there for a pet reading. So I pulled out all this stuff. I pulled out the stops for this kid. And he was still like, I don't know. And I'm like, that's okay. So I've come to the point now, and you said this, you were one of the first people that I ever heard says, I trust them more than I trust anything, sometimes even more than I trust myself.
Yes, because we kept this energy with us, this intuitive opportunity that we've always gotten positive answers and we've always gotten good answers from them. And when they are giving us warnings for people, it's so, people think that we're trying to gaslight or make things worse for them, or this isn't the message I wanted to hear, but I'm sorry, this is the message that they're going to give you. I can't change what you're expecting me to give you.
Yeah, it's what you need, not what you want.
And that's what people are having a hard time with at times.
Sometimes, yeah, I agree with that. And I find that a lot of people, I will say to them, how did you feel about your reading? And they're like, well, it wasn't what I wanted to hear, but it's definitely what I needed to hear. So some people actually go away and they feel good about the reading, but they don't feel great about the reading until about a week later.
I always get those affirmations later on, and it could be 1 to 2 weeks, or sometimes even 6 months, because they forgot to say something to me. And they just said, I meant to let you know. And here, I treated you like really badly. And it is my fault for not believing in this. And you just tell them, like I said, this is the only message I had for you. This is all I can give you. I'm very sorry that you can't speak to Uncle Mike.
I'm just the messenger. Yeah, I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot the messenger. Like, what do you know? I
share.
Remember there is this woman, I work in this little store. I go back there, you're talking about grounding and meditation.
Yes.
My life is very hectic with all the shows that I do and all the stuff that I'm involved in. And so once a month, I take that time to really ground. So I go back to the store I started in, and I go and I do readings there to remind me and to keep that humility. And when I first started there was a woman who came in and she had 3 Rottweilers. And I said, well, this happened, this happened, this happened. And she turns, she goes, no, completely inaccurate. No. I'm like, okay, you know what? Just keep your money. It's okay. No problem. So she leaves and she goes, do you want to see my dogs? Meet my dogs. She was a very lovely woman. I said, absolutely. So we went out to the car and her husband was there. And she says, oh, right in front of me. She goes, oh, she was completely inaccurate. She didn't get anything. She said this, and this. And the husband turns around and he goes, wait a second, don't you remember this, and this? I'm like, oh my God. And she goes, oh yeah, I completely forgot. And he validated the whole reading, because people feel like they're on the spot, right? Yeah. So they forget. The brain sometimes can't register fast enough the things that we're seeing. Right. And of course I turned around. I'm like, okay, can I get paid now? Like, would that be great? So she was great, but it was my learning. And I think the learning of anybody who wants to really become psychic, in not only that trust in the work that you do, but the belief in yourself, exactly. Right? That all answers will be revealed eventually.
And I agree with you 100%. That's what happens. And if I find the people who are intuitive and they're good at their craft, but they don't share. But when they start to, they always need something to work with. That is tarot cards. That is writing. That is
something tangible, because we are a tangible society, right? I started with tarot cards, and then all of a sudden I started getting answers, and then I would put down the card and the card would validate, right? So I was no longer depending on that. So starting with a tangible is actually an amazing way to start, and go ahead.
You have a dark entity around you. And I'm just trying to figure out who it is.
I know, it's right in my face too. She's like, this is Whitey. For those of you who don't know, we call her Boss Cat. She gets more loves and likes on Instagram than I do. But she's actually a ceremonial cat. So one of the things as an animal communicator I've always been open to is working with animals in ceremony with reading. She grounds me. But she's actually, we had an African medicine man in our home, and he did some work with us. And that night, it was an all-night ceremony. She actually would walk around when he was sleeping, and she would do healing work on us. And when he was working, she would take time to sleep, and they would work back and forth. And even he said it after, he goes, I've never seen anything like that before. And that was my learning in who she was and how I was able to work with her. So she's special.
And it's so fun to sit with you and watch you do the animal communication, because it goes off at 100 miles an hour. And people, you've got to record these things with us, because we're saying everything. And sometimes we're not remembering what we're saying because the messages are coming so quickly that it's the best thing is to record, and it's, I have no issue. I always want people to record their sessions, because it makes a difference. They can stay focused with us and listen, knowing that they're going to have this recording, and they go back to it. And then next thing you know, they're rebooking because they have new questions, because they want their answers. And that I love.
Yeah. And it's really cool. And I've noticed, I don't know if this has been happening to you, but it's actually really creepy, and it takes a lot to creep me out. And so on my Zoom, and now on my Messenger, on my Facebook, on my FaceTime, it's starting to happen. Whenever I doubt myself, this little thumb comes up, a like, but nobody's doing it. Like I haven't been hacked or anything. Or I was talking to an elder, and all of a sudden I was doubting she was there, and all these things started to come up, and we were talking about a baby, and balloons started to come up. And then I found out on FaceTime, you actually have to physically touch the phone to choose those things. And I'm just like, what the hell? So it's funny how I feel, and maybe I'm crazy, I don't know, maybe it's a technical glitch, but I feel that when I really need it, they give me these physical signs. And people will ask me, well, how do I get to that point? And that's stuff that we're talking about. My thing is always, listen to what's coming through. Just listen. Just, it's a movie. Let it go. It doesn't have to be words, and you don't have to physically see it. Sometimes it will come as a color. Sometimes it will come as a feeling. Sometimes it'll come as a taste, right? Dismiss nothing.
And that's beautiful. And that's what I like, Angel, because we need to be patient and persistent with the things that happen in front of us, the auditory, the visual, the touch, all of the smells. People just let it go because they just think it's a regular thing, or,
We have 5 physical senses and 5 psychic senses, and they work together. So I always teach, listen, dismiss nothing, just take what you get, but then act. And that's what you were talking about earlier. The whole idea of having the courage to act. That's the piece that people miss, right? We're starting to learn that it really does take a lot of courage to do this work, because when you give a message, sometimes you might be a little off the mark, especially if you're starting. You really have to trust what's coming in. Like I had a guy who had Lyme disease. And I said, no, there's something underlying. It has to do with a cat. And she came back and validated. She goes, yeah, he also had cat scratch disease. And all I kept seeing was a cat, right? So I had that moment of, do I really want to say this? And I went, no, you know what? I have to, because it's important. And they'll push you. So really feel the spirits and what they're trying to say. Dismiss nothing.
Just last week, I was talking to this client and I kept on seeing a clown. And I don't want to talk about a clown. I'm going,
Yeah.
why am I seeing this clown? And I kept on seeing it. And then the clown kept the smiley face. And I'm still afraid to bring it up to this person. I just like,
Right.
You're going to think I'm crazy.
Yeah.
And so towards the very end of it all, I just said, I need to tell you something. And it's really aggravating, but I need to tell you, and you really will think of me as strange. And I said, I see a clown beside you. And he has a smiley face, but he never used the smiley face. And all of a sudden, that's all I see.
Yeah.
She started to cry. And I'm going, oh, what the heck did I do? Her dad was a clown and did birthdays, and he had just passed away 24 hours prior.
Oh my
And I
God.
had not mentioned her father at all. And
Oh,
she didn't mention that he passed away.
the stories we have. The
So
stories.
you just sit there and you just go, oof,
Yeah.
So all I did was I stayed with her for another 15 minutes to have that conversation. And like, it's important that you can give them a little bit more closure. And I just said, your dad is taking off the makeup and how much he does love you. And he was a take charge person, but he was an introvert until he was a clown. And she burst out in tears again. And she just said, thank you so much for these messages. I have to tell my mom now.
Yeah.
And she says, thank goodness I recorded this, because
so important. So
yes.
important,
So those are the things, and you don't want to say anything. So the people that are starting out, you see a clown, maybe talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, I could tell you story after story of where I think I'm insane. And as soon as it comes out of my mouth, the correlation is made by the client, because it's not your story, right? It's not our story. It's their story. And that's the thing that I always like to tell people is I'm here to help you enrich your story, to help you bring your story to the surface, yes. Right? And even fill in those gaps, which is really exciting. Like, it's really interesting. I was doing this, the Horse Palace this past weekend with
that was amazing.
It was unreal. I work with an investigations team called Canadian Paranormal Investigations. They're incredible. You can check them out on Instagram as well. And something just jumped out of my mouth. Like, I didn't realize I'd said it till after I said it. And it was, we're not here to prove that ghosts exist. We're here to help you experience their existence, right? Because they're here, and there's no need to prove it. And it was lovely, because that's what the weekend really brought for us. But that one statement has really, and I think that's important too, is that we as readers take away the learnings from each experience ourselves. Like, as much as we're doing for you, you need to understand you're doing for us as well as clients. Like, you're helping us strengthen that muscle. But one of the things that we have to realize as psychics, and this is something after 24 and a half years, I'm just making this real connection. And you and I have talked about this. It's the whole idea that as grateful as you are for us being a bridge to spirit, did you know that spirit is just as grateful to us for being that bridge too?
The smiles we get from them, and the invisible
hugs, and
and if I am doing something wrong, I still get the pinch in the left ear from my mom. So I get those still to this day.
Yeah.
And those are the beautiful things, because that, for me, gives me the silent affirmations. I just won't say, oh, the spirit is hugging the crap out of me.
Yeah.
And I can't breathe, because they're just going to look at you. You're weird today, so it's those kind of things.
Yeah, absolutely. We're here for spirit as much as we are for the dead, as much as we are for the living.
Joseph, I have to bother Joseph. He might not. There he is.
I'm here.
Do we have anybody who wants to ask us some questions?
We do. There's a lot of personal questions. I'm going to ask first. How does this work? So if someone asks a question about, let's say, a pet, is it the energy you're reading? Like Do you need to see that person?
It
How does that?
depends. Okay, so the way I work is it will depend on the person and it will depend on the pet. So a lot of times, because I have various abilities, it just enhances that ability. So if they're visual, I will see. If they're auditory, I will hear more. If they have sight, then I will be able to see a ghost or that kind of thing. It depends on their abilities, how I read. So if somebody wants to talk about their pet and their mental, emotional, I will feel a lot, but I will also see a lot and I will hear a lot internally. If they were physical, I can feel what they felt like. So, or any combination of those four: mental, physical, emotional, or spiritual. And if they're spiritual, that's the easy one for me, right? And for Jim as well, because we're spirit level, we can communicate on all levels. Like I love spirit level animals. They're just not very common because they're psychic animals.
Which scares the crap out of me.
Does it?
Yeah, I'm still bewildered by that. And I got to learn that every living thing has an ability. And it wasn't that I was closed off to this, but all of a sudden it was that light bulb that went off and going, Jesus, man, like animals are just as much as psychic as
we are.
And
yeah.
Damn it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going, I'm so guilty now. I feel bad for my dog and my cat. And I'm going, because they can feel every piece of our energy.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Oh, yeah. We had a tarantula, and a lot of people in the reptilian world and the arachnid world, they believe that they don't have emotions, that they can't form a bond with humans, which is pshaw, because the reality is they can. And we had a tarantula who proved that to us. We were able to communicate with her through visualization, what we needed her to do. And she would do it. She literally went from 15 minutes when we first got her down to less than probably 5 seconds. She would just turn around and she would do what we would show her to do. She was amazing.
So we need, for all the animal lovers out there, to understand that your animals are communicating with you.
Yeah.
We just don't sometimes have the ability to hear them, but their gestures and their abilities will tell us. It's unbelievable.
For sure. The physical part of it is not a cheat. People go, oh, well, you're reading the physicality. Well, guess what? That's part of it's mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual. So if I see someone or I see an animal who's cowering, the last thing I'm going to do is force my ability or force my energy on that animal. I'll kind of back off and I'll do it a different way. I might go up to their guides and guardians and angels to communicate with them, right? If I have a rescue, right? Yes. Or if I have an animal who's passing. So there are a lot of different variables and scenarios that you'll go through. But the one thing I do want to say is that I have a lot of amazing psychics who read people. Like these people are famous, and they'll go, well, how do you read animals? There's no difference between reading an animal and reading a person and reading a tree. The only difference is that there is a different vibrational field.
It's got to be a vibration, because sometimes I'm picking it up now because you're making me very feel like I need to understand the animal kingdom a little bit more than what I have in the past. So you've already made me start to pay attention to Oreo. That's our sheepadoodle, and our little cat. And you really take your time and look at them, because I read through the eyes. That's my gift. I read through the eyes. But this dog has human eyes, and you're looking going, don't be an asshole to me. And that's what the dog is telling me. Stop being a jerk. Like, I need to go pee now. And I'm going, no, I can't hear that, but I am hearing that.
Right.
And I get up, put the leash on, and out I go at 11:30.
We're expecting to hear a voice in our head.
Yes.
And it's not always that, because some animals, like, you ever hear those animals? They're just like, the people go, oh, they're just dumb. They don't understand me. They never do anything when I ask them to. You know what? Those are actually brilliant animals, because more than likely they're completely emotional, and they're picking up and interpreting through your emotions, or they're mental and they're seeing visuals in your head, right? Like, this is what I tell anybody out there who has an animal who doesn't necessarily respond to your words. This is what I would do, because you probably have an animal who's either mental, emotional, or mental, spiritual. What I would do is create a little TikTok or reel in your head that's about 7 seconds long. That is something that you want them to do or not do. So Yoshi is a good example. He's one of my cats. There's a lot I don't want him to do. So I will see him not like doing what he's doing, and I put a big red X in it. And I find within 2 weeks, he stops. I had a cat. I toilet trained him that way. I actually showed him going to the washroom, and it took 2.5, 3 weeks. And it was the beginning of my career. Nothing was happening. I thought, oh, this is crap. And my son comes toddling in at the time, and he goes, mommy, he goes, the cat's peeing in the toilet. I'm like, okay, honey. And I'm like, oh my God. So I got out of bed, ran, and the three of us are, his dad and I, and we're like, oh my God. And the cat literally turned around, and I heard, because this one, I could hear him in my head. And he's like, well, this is what you wanted, wasn't it? So some animals are, again, I could talk to him in my head, but to say anything to him, wouldn't respond, just wouldn't respond.
I'm only laughing because we talked about this for 6 minutes. Joe,
Sorry.
Do you think we answered their questions?
I get carried away.
That was like a precursor question.
Okay.
But
Okay.
Do you want me to throw one at you? And we'll talk about it.
Yeah. Please.
Are people going to come on, or are we just going to take questions?
We're going to do live readings sometime, but these are just questions that are inside the. I can't look at the YouTube, or I get completely confused.
I can post these questions so you can see them. I just don't want to distract you both.
Yeah. No, it's good.
Plus,
Do it the way you want to do it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Well, for anyone listening, if you want to come live on the show, we still may have some spots, unless Jim overtalks, which he normally does.
Or Angel, she's catty too. Don't blame it on. Don't throw him totally under the bus tonight.
Fair enough. Kathy Abdallah asked, for Angel, are my Belgian Shepherds in my life from another time, or a person I've known?
One is. One of your Belgian Shepherds is definitely from a past life. It feels very female. I don't know if you have a male and female or two females, but it feels very female. If it's not female in this life, it wasn't another, but that Belgian Shepherd has been with you in many, I hear her say many lifetimes. And I feel like, and I'm going to say she, because that's what it feels like. So if it's a male, my apologies. But I just get this beautiful feminine energy around this particular dog. And I absolutely adore it. The other one, very present and it's almost like it's here to hold space for you, to help you be who you're meant to be. So both of them have a job for you. Very yin and yang. I like these two dogs.
I just I know this person. Oh. And you're right on.
Oh, good.
Right on.
I love reading humans, but there's something about animals that I think it's that primal self, that child, that Gemini, that really connects to them. I love that. But
you connected to that almost immediately. You understand? So to me, that still blows me away in a way. And I'm a psychic. And I'm jealous of you. Did you know that? No way. I am. You came over and you did a night with us and with the investigations team. And the way you were pulling stuff through as a medium, I'm like, I'm just going to shut up now because he's amazing. Like I was agog. That word. Again, you're being ridiculous. Thank you for that. Thank you. But Canadian Paranormal, the whole crew were very real people, and they were so helpful. And we've had them as guests. Yeah. And, the information that you get from them to investigate are so honest and real. There's no fabricating anything. There is no gaslighting anybody. They want to get you answers that they know they can get through a spirit box, through an EMF meter talking to us. And it was a lot of fun for me. It was. We loved having you there. We absolutely. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. All right. Hit us with another question, maybe.
Sounds good. Just going in order. This one's from Lori P. I'm taking care of a dog for a sick friend. Am I going to end up with her dog permanently? Friend is in hospice care.
No, I don't think you're going to end up with the dog permanently. I keep feeling like there's somebody this dog will go to that's trusted by the person in hospice. I feel like you are an interim or temporary people, and I'm hearing thank you. I'm hearing thank you. And I'm hearing this actually from the dog's guides, guardians, and angels, because this dog is a very sensitive dog and it doesn't know what's going on. So Lori, I know you. So Lori, I need you to talk this dog, sit down, let them know what's going on. Tell them that their caregiver is not well at all, and this is what could happen. Sometimes with animals, well, all the time with animals, like people, they want to know what's happening. It's confusing to them. There's a lot of change happening in our lives, and when you have someone like Lori who is really, really gifted, just talking to them, she has this beautiful comforting energy. It's enough to put an animal at ease.
And I can attest to that because you helped me with Oreo and his gnawing on his body. And I was sick there for a time. And I remember saying to Oreo before I went into the hospital, you have to take care of Jill and Amelia. I remember saying that directly to the dog and looking at him in the eyes. Then this whole character changed. He was a little bit more aggressive. He was making sure whoever was ever at the door. And he, even when I came home, he was still doing the same thing. Then you just told me, tell him it's okay. I'm back. I'm healthy. And I'm going to be able to take over now.
Yeah, and he was so scared that this was going to happen again and that you weren't going to come back. So just reassuring him of that. I remember that. That was beautiful.
And it worked. It worked in 24 hours. It worked because he just stayed comfortable. And now, to this day, he sits beside me on every level. Like it's like, I'll go get a drink of water. No, I got to sit with Jim. I got to go. Jim needs to take me for a walk. And, he does that little nibble.
It's nurtured your relationship, right?
Yeah. But that was amazing. So that was something that just, again, I even get chills because of it. So it was really cool.
Thank you. Thanks. And it's so simple with animals because they're so beautifully open. It really is just about being really, really quiet, asking, what is it you need to show me? What do you need to tell me? And then what images do you get? What thoughts do you get? What feelings do you get? I'm not really special, to be honest with you. We can all do this and we should be doing this. We are bridges, right? We and ourselves. So, it's fun that I get to do this. And the reason I can do it so fast is because I have you guys, like I said, and, I've been doing this for 24 and a half years. So I'm practiced. It's like a piano player, right? Or a lawyer or a doctor or whatever.
Our abilities are our abilities, and we just enhance them and they get better as time goes on. We're now professors in the industry, basically. Yeah. And I so much want people to be able to use this because I know in a very short time, a lot of people are going to open up their communication skills, their abilities, because it's going to be warranted. It's going to be important that we can give messages because it's about a full circle. It's been used before in Roman times, in Egyptian times, and it was stopped out of fear. And now,
always there.
And now there is the fear. But because of media, because of opportunity, we're not going anywhere now.
And also, we've gone from the tree of knowledge, which we sat in for 1,500 years, which is very masculine, which was very, innovative and that kind of stuff. And now if you think of a tree turning, we're in the tree of life. And now we're rebalancing that masculine energy with the feminine. And this is the year of the rabbit. And in this year of the rabbit, it's all about sitting in our authenticity. And you can't be authentic without that intuitive part of who we are. We can't.
At all. And we open up our hearts and our souls to the spirit world because they want to relay messages. And like you said at the beginning, they love that we can communicate and they want others to communicate. And this is what I'm trying to get through to people. You're listening, you're hearing things, you're dreaming. What you think are dreams are actually Yes.
Acknowledge it.
And it just
And
pulls it in, right?
I agree. And the thing is, too, is you don't have to become a professional, right?
No.
You can use this quietly for your family. As much as my son doesn't like talking about me talking about it, he has abilities. And he's always telling me, Mom, he goes, you're the one in the public eye. He goes, I use my abilities, but they're mine. They're mine. And he's very quiet about it.
Yep.
There's a very, very close-knit circle of friends who understands who he really is. So the reality is, and unless they watch this show, then it's different.
Yeah.
That kind of changes the ball game for him. But the reality is that we are given these gifts, not just for the tribe, but for our tribe, right? Not for the cosmic tribe, but it starts at home.
It does. And my mom was that way, like your son. And I was blessed with her giving me information to use.
So
and if I ever used it in the wrong way, it would be taken away from me. That was the threat.
Yeah.
And you had to think about that out of respect. And this is the late 60s and into the 70s. And my mother would give me certain things every once in a while. You see why you did this is because you were being talked to by your great grandfather. And I'm going, I didn't know who that old man was. Well, you should have asked. Remember? Because we always start asking questions there, Jimbo. Like put that together.
You had that beautiful guide to guide you. That was Diane at the Hedge Witch for me. She'd be like, well, why didn't you ask a question? Well, did you ask a question? There would be times when I'm coming in, it's like, who's with you? What did you bring into the store this time? It's like, okay, right. Okay, I get it. So we need those people in our lives. And because not everybody has a family member, we're so lucky now to have these kinds of platforms so that you and I, people like us who are so willing to share, that information's now out there.
But we can also embarrass our family too, which is something that
So
they
much
have time with. And it's okay because I smile every time I think about it.
Yeah, me too. I love it. I love it. I'm a terrible mother, so.
As if. We are 10 to 10 almost. And Joe, do you think that we could have some live people coming on, or are we going to continue talking and ask if people want to ask questions? I just don't know because I'm not looking at YouTube.
You're always putting me on the spot, big guy.
Thank you.
You have one live reading, Nadia.
Okay.
I think we should bring her on.
Yeah.
I think we'll leave some time at the end for a thank you for completing episode 1.
Yes, that'll be great. Let's
All right.
bring her on board.
All right. Without further ado, Nadia.
Okay. Now, Nadia, this is the only slow part, I think. She can't hear us. Hey, Nadia, how are you? Can you hear us? Oh, waiting for audio. Okay. We can wait. We have.
Can you hear us now?
Yes. Am I live? Oh, this is so wild. This is freaky. But I want to try to see both of you at the same time. There we go. How's it going, Jim?
It's going great. Nice to see you. It's been
nice
a while.
Too. Surprise.
Yes. Wow.
I didn't think I'd come on your show. I didn't now I have stage fright all of a sudden.
That's okay. We're allowed stage fright. Go ahead. You want to?
First of all, this has been a beautiful discussion. Hi, Angel. Nice to meet you. I'm
Hi,
Nadia.
nice to meet you, Nadia. Nice.
It's just so nice to hear you both share about your gifts, and it also just gives a lot of ideas about. I'm an overthinker, so it's like I'm like, maybe some of this is helpful for just like reaching in and being like,
and you know what? I'm an overthinker. Best thing for overthinkers, because many of us do, right?
Yeah.
Get outside, get into your body. I know this is going to sound terrible. Work out, anything that gets your breath going. It gets you out of your head.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I think you're absolutely right. Something I need to prioritize, but getting outside does help. Mm-hmm. Being by the water, mine especially. Yeah.
Nadia, what's your birthday?
June 3rd. Do you need the year? 86.
There we go.
Hi.
Yeah, you knew right away.
Nice. So drink a lot of water too, because we need that to offset the air element, definitely, because we dehydrate more than most. And then if we're working with our intuitive abilities, especially the air signs, we definitely need to compensate a little bit.
And
okay, thank you.
For Geminis, you really have to, it's such a crazy thing about every other birth sign. They either like you or don't like you. There's no in between. And it is so hard. I married a Gemini too. I know this Gemini and I know that Gemini. And it is heartbreaking for a lot of Geminis to say, why don't you like me? I'm trying so hard to help you or give you information. And a lot of signs don't want to listen, or they're going, I'm done with you. Or they're just going to go, can you continue? Can you write me a book? You talk to me every day. So there's always there. It's yes or no. It's so weird.
We are very black and white, but that's because we're unlike the Libra who likes to stay in that center, and that's your challenge, right? Like you come off kilter a little bit, and it's like, you know, taking a lollipop from a kid. We love those extremes. Our issue is staying in that balance. We just don't want to be there, right? So we love those extremes, and it is hard for people to kind of come into that place of bipolarness, so to speak, because we just love to experience those other ends in order to come to the middle. So it can be very hard. And we do have 1,001 personalities. So, you know, I do feel sorry for every other sign. You know, I apologize on behalf of Geminis that we wake up in the morning and we bring to the table something different each day, because we're also very present and very spontaneous, right? So we can cry, but then all of a sudden find laughter, like just in a, like the switch is on, the switch is off.
Yeah.
And it's you're doing 9 things at once and you let the other 7 go, but you know the other 2 that we don't even need right now is what you're going to be doing. And I'm going, what?
Yeah.
What?
You're okay with that? Why
Come on, Gemini. Come on now.
I know we were just at like point A and B, but like, can we just talk about point E for a second? Like,
yeah, exactly. High five, sister. High five. Like, you know,
I do know on the astrological side that this supermoon that happened on Friday that was in Aries will give all Geminis the opportunity to fulfill their opportunities, to give them a place where they feel desired and wanted for a change. And it goes for the next 7 years of your lives on all levels for Geminis. So the ones that you didn't get along with, they are going to fall by the wayside, and you won't even have to think about them anymore or worry about that judgment, because you will just be able to focus honestly and get things done the way that you want to get things done. And you won't argue with yourself as much. That's being taken away from you because of Aries.
That's crazy that you're saying that, because those affirmations I was talking about, the ones when my eyes are closed, one of my new affirmations, my brand new affirmations is, I only welcome those people that encourage my life and move me forward. So that's so funny. Correlates. See how intuitively, even though it's not a conscious level thing, intuitively we slip into the rhythm of the time and the stuff that's happening, right? So this is
automatically.
When you're in alignment, it just moves in rhythm. So
have you started that new position, Nadia? Because that was last year, right?
No, I mean, I had a kind of supervisor position at a job earlier this year, but now I'm just like cruising along. But I am kind of like, you know, I'm like seeing forks in the road lately, and one of them is like work, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. This is not, I'm burning out. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I like work for you. That's actually quite balancing for you. For you, it's more for me about the personal life and your sense of play. And that's kind of how we started all of this, was that whole idea that you're in your head. And you were saying, Jim, that now we're going to get pulled out of our heads. So for you, it is activity level, and water is really going to rebalance your emotions too, because I feel like you get very frustrated very easily. And that water is really going to help. Even wear some moonstone. Moonstone is really good for mood regulation. And Geminis, I love moon. I'm not wearing mine tonight because I'm actually feeling rather mellow, but moonstone is actually a really, really good one for you.
and wear it as close to your heart chakra as possible.
Okay.
Agreed.
Thank you.
100%. 100%. And remember too, it's not just about our zodiac sign, right? You're a Gemini and I'm a Gemini, but today I'm having like a really relaxed, kind of chill day. But I'm also rat medicine and I'm also snake medicine is my spirit animal. So these other totems and these other astrological signs also play into it. So learn a little bit more about who you are, very particular. What's your Chinese sign? What is your spirit animal? And the spirit animal, you can go into meditation. You can, again, close your eyes in the morning and just ask, show me my spirit animal today. And that will start to evolve for you.
Can I do, you guys mentioned plants earlier. Can I like do the same visualization for like good plants or something to be around me? Because I feel like that would also be really good for me.
Absolutely. Good. Did you say plans or plants?
Plants.
Plants, like in greenery.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's brilliant. I'm going to do that. Oh my God, that's actually brilliant.
Yeah, but
that's a good, I never thought of that's a good one. See, we learn, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have to wrap this up.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's great to see you. And thank you, Joe. Thank you, Angel. And I hope both of you guys take care. I wish you both the best. Thank you so much.
Nadia, thank you so much for this. All right. It's great.
Okay, great to see you.
You take care now.
You too.
All right. Okay. So there's a lot of new things that are going on. Angel, we're going to be shutting this down now because we just need to go on. And by popular demand, is if we can get you on here as often as you can, and we can talk about so many different things.
Yeah, I would love that. Before we go though, I do have a book that I just released, and this is basically on this topic. And it's called My Psychic Companion, and it's actually a second book that I have. This is a notebook that has all these wonderful psychic quotes in them, and this one goes deeper into those quotes. So if you look at it, it'll give you what's there, whatever that says. Psychic work is healing work, and then it'll go very deeply into what that means. And this book is the companion for it. So this is something that people can utilize as well, and you can get it at Amazon. And next week on Friday the 13th, I'm actually going to be at the Factory Theatre in downtown Toronto. So if anybody is there or anybody wants tickets, you can go to my website, raisingenergy.com, or you can go to factorytheatre.ca, and it's Beyond the Veil, Messages from the Ancestors.
That's amazing. So those two things are coming up. What about the show in Niagara Falls? What is I'd like to hear about that too.
Yeah, that's November 15th. That's going to be really exciting. Angela Swift, who you've had on before, we're getting her in from Vancouver, and we're going to be doing 2 psychics, and it's going to be November 15th at the Fallsview Theatre, and we're going to be doing readings. So the first half of the show, I'm going to do some readings, she's going to do some readings, and then the second part, we're going to tag team, and we're going to answer the questions that you guys want to ask, and our host, our Oprah Winfrey for the night, is going to be Barb DiGiulio from News Talk 1010, The Night Side. She used to have a radio show of her own with News Talk, and that's where I used to work. We've been looking for a project together. So I was able and fortunate enough to take this opportunity that Aries is giving me and create this project. And I feel very fortunate to do that. And that's going to be November the 15th of this year. So tickets are available for that too through my website, raisingenergy.com, and Niagara Falls Convention Center.ca, I think.
So the things that I want to mention again, Angel, your website is raisingenergy.com. People can book with you at any time. It's imperative that people understand that they should put some questions together before they talk to you and give yourself an idea. You are going to talk anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But questions are always good to have. So you have an idea of what you want. And if you want more tips about this kind of stuff, my Instagram, again, at Raising Energy. And for those of you who are new to Jim, make sure you go to him. He's awesome.
Thank you.
You have a class coming up too, don't you?
I have a class that's going to be happening on October 15th at 2 p.m. Eastern. And that is to identify and learn how to open or develop your intuitive abilities. And it's basic, but it's got to have a lot of fun and a lot of information. We have 11 topics.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. And it's, everything from working with the tools that you have, keeping a journal, practicing visualization, developing intuition, chakra work, grounding, maintaining, which is what you and I believe in the most, ethical and responsible readings.
Yes, I love that. Ethical and responsible readings. Absolutely. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here tonight.
Oh, listen, I love this, and I know we're going to do it more often. And I just wish you all the best.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We're going to let you go. I'm going to sign off. And Joe did not want to come on camera tonight, so we're just going to let him be. But I want to thank Joe again for getting episode 1, season 2 off the ground. And in 2 weeks, we have a new guest, which is going to be something very interesting. And we're going to start promoting this right away because she'll be a very interesting person to have on.
Ooh.
She is a healer. Thank you. All right. You take care. And I want to thank everybody for being on and listening to Angel and I go on. And we wish you all the best. And we will see you on October 10th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you, everybody, for the visit.
Right.